welcome to another Sci-Fi Fantasy Saturday. But today, this really should be on Sanctuary Sunday because this is divine. This is divine right. Now, this game has a very special place in my gaming history and in my nostalgia for gaming. This has been a grail game of mine over time, and I'll put a link to some of the other content where I've talked about Divine Right and what it means to me, and some of the other content on Divine Right. But to sum it up, this game, the TSR version, I hold very, very many fond memories for that and gaming with my friends way back in junior high and high school days. So much so that I tried to find this game, but never could find the TSR version, and eventually did find, the 25th anniversary edition, and I'll put a link to this where I covered this. And this is an okay game. Actually, there's several different rule sets in here, and I think this tried to make Divine Right into something that maybe it wasn't. But it wasn't the Divine Right of the TSR days, or the game that I fondly remember. But when I saw that Worthington Publishing, or more correctly, Pungo Games, which is kind of a company that was formed by Worthington Publishing along with some new designers to go into more Euro games, because Worthington is more of a war game company. At least that's how they've grown up over the years and developed games for the wargaming hobby. But this Pungo Games is coming up with a different line of games that are non-wargaming or not wargaming. And when I saw that they were going to redo or revise or republish or bring to life again Divine Right, I reached out to Grant and explained, kind of my history and my story about how much this game means to me. And lo and behold, I've got this in the mail. So very excited to see this. I knew that they were republishing, but I haven't been following what are all the details, what are all the differences, and so I'm anxious to open up this along with with you so we can look at it. As I said, I'll put a link to this. This changed a few things or did things a little bit differently or tried to correct some things with Divine Right. I'm really anxious to see what this does with Divine Right. So let's take a look at the back. And I'll say right off the bat, it's baseball season. I think that this is going to be very high quality. The TSR version was, TSR back in the 80s, right? And Divine Right of the 25th anniversary, really kind of didn't greatly improve some of that quality of components. I mean, in some places maybe a little bit, like there was at least a mounted board, but in some places not so much. But one thing that if you're familiar with Worthington Publishing, quality is job one. It is very top notch in anything they do. So I am anxious to get into this and see how the quality of the components in here. But we're seeing the board here. It looks like they're going back to some of that familiar imagery that I recall from Divine Right, with both the different factions and the board. I've always loved the art, and I loved the fantasy terrain, or at least the depiction of the terrain, and the like. So as we see right here on the back, let's go in a little bit closer. More than just a game, it is a work of fantasy literature in which you, the players, control the destiny of nations. You organize alliances, seek out magical treasures, and lead your armies and fleets to battles, sieges, plunder, and, if you have been wise, victory. Playable by 2 to 6 players in 2 to 6 hours, combining combat, diplomacy, and role-playing into fast-paced action as each player attempts to build and hold together an alliance of kings long enough to defeat the other players and win the game. The kingdoms of humans, elves, goblins, dwarves, and trolls are pawns in the power games that absolute monarchs play. Ambassadors vie for attention of the kings whose favor they curry. Assassination and backstabbing are popular pastimes, and loyal allies may leave your side in the heat of battle at a drop of the hat or a die. The magicians, too, get their arcane fingers into things, and the gods intervene as well. It is a situation which demands skill and luck. I don't know about you, but that's a nice setup for this game. And you know what? Enough talk. Well, I'm going to do some more talking. But let's get in this package and see what we have for us. As I said, I'm really excited to see the combination of Worthington Publishing's quality and attention to that overlaid into something that I have always held dear to my gaming experience. So let's look at this. It's got a nice box. I mean, I like the art on that. Very evocative. Good, thick box. And this is a bigger box for Worthington. This is a nice, thick, kind of more of a Euro game type box. Ooh, look at this. This is it's like a poster piece right there. That's cool. Kind of can frame that. Very nice. Very nice there. Ooh, we got the rules are bagged. Look at that. And ooh, we got more stuff in here than I expected. So let's look at the back of the rules here. It's got some charts here, maybe to keep track of stuff. And the rules are 33 pages, dual column. Let's go in a little bit closer here. Here's the credits. 1979 design, 1979 editing, 1979 box art. Then we got the 2024 editing, 2024 box art. That's kind of cool. Kind of giving a nod back to the original designers. So we have our table of contents here. Now, one thing about Divine Right, and as the 25th anniversary, when you look at my video on the 25th anniversary, you see that there was like all these different rule sets. There was like the standard game and a intermediate game and an advanced game, and it was like they were trying to make Divine Right something that it wasn't. The original game was not that complex, but it suffered from 1980s war game syndrome or fantasy war game syndrome, in that it was recreating a simulation, kind of a hex and counter type simulation, with a lot of politics overlaid on top of it. So it'll be interesting to see. I wonder if this goes back to the basic of the 1979 version, as I said. Or what did I say, 79? Or I think I said 79. Yeah, 79 design. So we got our introduction, we got our game pieces, stuff on the game markers. Looks like I got some map references there. We have here's your suggested table layout. This kind of harkens back to a early 80s or late 70s type of rule booklet there. Sequence of play. And this is, as I said right here, this is the basic game, so I wonder if they're going to have the different layers of games as well. Here's your events, diplomacy. Again, politics is very important in this game. Sieges. Looks like we got some notes and examples in here as well. Forced peace. Here's movement. Here's your terrain chart here. And terrain effects. As you see, there's lots of different types of terrain. I've always liked that art that they had on there, because that's kind of the fantasy art I grew up with. So it holds a place in my psyche of what I expect from fantasy art. Here's stacking, combat, modifying the combat die roll. As I said, this is a fantasy war game. There is a lot of combat going on here. There's a politics, and there's some kind of adventure role-playing-ish type features in here, but at its heart, it's a fantasy war game. Here's retreat before combat. Here's leaders. Leaders are, of course, very important here. There's also heroes, I believe, if I recall. It's been a long time since I played this. Here's special notes about trolls, goblins, and dwarves. And then you get an advanced game. So we do have an advanced game here. I just don't know if they're going to have like the 3 or 4 levels that the other one had. So doing it gradually, so adding in some of this stuff. So you've got barbarians and the lepers and the magicians. Very important. Got to play with them. The Black Hand. I remember the Black Hand. Very cool. The Gray Staff. Test of the Gods. Special Mercenaries. And this was always a neat thing. You would go around trying to recruit these and have these on your side. And some of these had really kind of unique and asymmetrical powers that you wanted to get on your side. And it was just neat having that counter. That was like, oh, I need to get that guy. And have that counter to add to your battle plans. Here's the Laura Minaria, the different kingdoms here. Very cool. Zorn, was kind of in the middle. Sarcasm, that's always interesting. Alrighty, so there we go. So that's the rules. That doesn't look too bad. What do we got here? Are these 2 different rule books? Yep, and that's something that Worthington does a lot. They give you 2 rules because, normally you have 2 players. So they give you 2 different rule books. So one could be hunting and finding the rules, and the other one could be looking for something else. Here's a player aid, nice thick cardboard or paperboard for that what you expect from a player aid. Actually, thicker than some of the stuff I've unboxed recently. Your random events, your leader fate die roll, and your is that just one piece? That's really thick. And then your train effects chart. Very nice. Ooh, and how many do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I sounded like Sesame Street, the count there. So we got 6 player aids. Oh, liking the board already. I like that board. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. Let's save that for the pièces restantes. And then you got the counters. Oh, we got a counter tray here. That's typical of Worthington, but this is a little bit bigger box, so we got a bigger counter tray. Going to need a bigger boat. And these are pre-rounded counters. I'm liking that. Good thickness, good quality by Worthington, what you would expect. And they went back to the original art. I mean, this is no fuss, no muss type of imagery that was in the original game. Remember the ambassador image. So very nice. So very evocative of the original game. And very cool there. I'm liking this. I really am. I'm trying to contain myself here. I know you guys are thinking, well, this is an old game and what's the point of it? But it means something to me, and I'm really happy that they republished this. Because the anniversary edition, it was a little clunky on some of the components, and I don't know. I just didn't feel like punching it out and playing it. This I am going to punch out and play. I might do it right here. I might just take all night. I should have done this live. And here's some of those unique units, some of those mercenaries. I got to remember who I really liked here. Yeah, it's been a long time. Anyway, well, it's double-sided, so look at that. All right, let's look to the, let's get the counter tray open, and let's look at some of the cards here. We got 2 dice, and let's open up these guys first. So I want to thank Grant and Worthington and Pungo. I just can't thank you enough. This looks really cool. Oh, look at that. The Shukasm. It just sounds like what they are, Okay, cool. And then we'll go, they'll go with some of the ones over here. But let's see what we got here. These are the personality, paranoid, glory hound, guilt stricken. There's a little bit of RPG involved in this. I mean, that of your kingdoms or your leaders, and playing out. And these are nice, good quality cards. In fact, there's a little bit of a linen finish on that. Very nice quality there. Let's get these bad boys open. Opens very nice. I mean, that's not a huge selling point, but I don't know. I like it. All right. Diplomacy and more identities. Let's look at these identities first here. These are all these different kingdoms, and it shows you what their starting is. So this has 9 armies and 4 fleets. Hothiar, I remember playing them. Pawn, Eaters of Wisdom. I just love this. There's your good old Zorn. Ymir. God, I played so many of these different ones over the years. Many, many years ago. I like that. So that's cool. All right, let's look at the diplomacy cards. Man, I sound like a fanboy here. All right, so these are all diplomacy. And enter the Black Knight. Oh, the Black Knight. Here we go. Enter the Scum. It's cool stuff. So this is kind of almost like a random events, but these come out of like the diplomacy phase. Really cool stuff. Golly, I'm liking all that. But you know what? That is nothing without the map. So let's get that map open so we can see. Very nice, thick mounted board there. I'm going to have to go up Periscope on this one. And I'm out of room already. I don't know how I'm going to get all this. Oh, I'm going to drop everything off the board here. Oh, I'm liking the look at this map. Liking it. Oh, many years ago. Like, many years ago. Spent many hours poring over this map. I remember one of my most epic sessions of this. This is when I was still in high school. My friend and I, the one I played this the most, he had Hothior and I had Mivrior, and we had a whole line of troops right here. It was basically like World War I trenches, right? We just had all our troops kind of stacked against each other and kind of had this truce that, was mutual destruction, right? If one went after the one and didn't fully take them out, which they probably couldn't because we were evenly matched there, then the other one was going to be able to blow through the hole in the line that was left. And then the rest of the game, we went out here and explored and did what we could, but we had this massive buildup and stalemate on our border for the longest time through most of the game until we figured out that until one of us had enough to break the tie. It was a long time ago, but remember it well. I like the looks of this. This is very reminiscent of the original map, which was a paper map. Had a lot of black on it, which I know that eats up a lot of printing, so I can only imagine what it costs to print it on that black. But it pops out. I can't remember. I think the 25th didn't use the black border. I can't recall. I can pull it out and take a look at it. But I like the look of this. You've got your terrains over here as well to kind of see what that is. You also have a grid here. If you can see, you go A to EE, and then you have at the top, you have numbers. So you've got, I think that's numbers here. Kind of hard to see there. Yeah, you've got numbers. So you can kind of do a grid to figure out where stuff's at. There's the huts of the scum. For some reason, I just always focused on that one. But you have these locations where you can go pick up or get mercenaries, and there's a lot here. And then you have these capitals and ports. I mean, there's ocean and water on here, so navies are important. As you saw, some of those different empires. Like this has 4 fleets. I remember playing them very well, and I always had an advantage in fleets. And Hothior had fleets as well, but I love playing these guys. I don't know, I'm liking the look of all this. I mean, if this doesn't get you in the mood for some fantasy wargaming, I don't know what will. I ended up buying Beast Lord. I've covered that before. You can take a look at that. That was a Quinto. I was bought a lot of Quinto games back in the day, or at least played a lot. Very complex, though. They were like overly complex with what you got. This one was a little bit more straightforward, and I never could get back to this. I didn't have this, and so I tried to find other things like Beast Lord or Elric and other type of fantasy games, but this one will always be near and dear to my heart. So there you have it. This is Divine Right, the latest edition from Pungo, a combination of Pungo and Worthington. I don't know exactly how they're all connected. I think that they're basically, Punko is a new game company that's leveraging off of Worthington's long experience of publishing high quality games. I gotta tell you, I'm liking the look of all this. You get a lot in this box. So if you have any interest in Divine Right, I don't know what you're waiting for. This is what you should be picking up right now. And if you have never played Divine Right and don't know what it is, I don't know what you're waiting for. You should be picking this up right now. Anyway, thank you, Grant. Thank you, Punko. Thank you, Worthington. Thank you all for hanging in with me and watching me open this up. I'm excited, and I'm going to do some gameplay on this. I'm going to get this to the table. I'm going to force my kids kicking and screaming to play this, and hopefully they'll have the same experience I had. They will not, but I can always dream. Anyway, thanks all. Take care. Thanks for watching.